Shall we start, brother?
Can we start now?
Yes, Bismillah.
All right, Bismillah. All right, Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya al-mursalin sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. We thank Allah that we have been given opportunity. We thank Allah for the faith and the opportunity and the health today that we given the opportunity to talk one of the giant women, the giant Muslimah in our tradition, and the part of the stories of the Sirah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we ask Allah to send the salutation and the blessing upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, today, today, brother Anwar, I'm gonna talk. So to help me to prevent me from being lonely, I'm gonna ask you questions from time to time, right?
Sure, I'll try to be as attentive as possible, inshallah.
Yeah. So that means I know someone is responding. I know probably someone listening, but there's someone responding as well. Okay.
I'm here.
All right. So 2 weeks ago we talked about the one of the mothers of the believer, which is Khadijah radiallahu anha, and today we have opportunity again to talk about another mother of the believers, the Ummahatul Mu'minin, none other than the Hafsah bint al-Ummah bin Khattab. All right, so let's start. So what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so we will start from just slightly have some time, just go over some of the things that we need to talk about. What is exactly the mother of the believer, right? So we discussed it 2 weeks ago. I'll just probably go quickly on what it means by mother of believers, and then we talk about some. Again, I like to start off with the family lineage, because in order for us to understand the stories and the prophet and the sirah of the prophet, we need to understand how the cultures and how the cultures and the condition and the situations around that. So we give more sort of understanding what's going on. So we give more appreciation to the stories as well. And then we pick up some of the life events of this mother, Hafsa R.A, and we pick up, inshallah, we take some benefit and learning some of that, because all of the stories, they've been, brother, and will you be helping me to admit all the, okay. So it can pop up on my screen as well.
Yeah.
Where was I? Where was I? Okay. So then, where was I? Okay, all right, let's start with the first one. So what is the actually mother of the believers? The mother believers is actually the term that is actually used in the very text of the Quran as well, right? So an-nabiyyu awla bil mu'minin min anfusihim, that Allah mentions that the prophet is actually more caring to us, the mu'min, right? More than us actually care about us, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has they call it this affinity, like a strong relationship, like a strong care about. And on the same verses, Allah mentions wa aswajuhu, and then the wives of the Prophet, ummahatum, right? This is the mothers, right? And what does it mean by the mothers? The mothers mean, of course, it means like they're like the mothers for us, for the mu'min. So these verses was revealed, I think, the 5th year in Medina. So Awla means our Nabi is a protector, someone who has a strong bond, someone who caring more than ourselves. And then the protector here, like the Ummahatul Mu'minin, is from the plural of Ummi, meaning which is the mother, but of course not necessarily a biological mother. So for example, the mother means the mother of tarbiyah, the mother of education. and then Allah gives them special status as well, right? So in the Quran, the Surah Al-Fatihah, we talk about it as the Quran, the mother of Quran. So that means a special blessing on this Al-Fatihah compared to other surah, for example, right? So the special status. For example, we recite Al-Fatihah every rak'ah of the salah. The salah of the rak'ah is not considered complete, right? It can be void as well if we don't mention the surah Al-Fatihah. So this is Quran. So what is the Mu'minin, right? So if we are Mu'min, then we have to have special respect to the wives of the Prophet, and one of them is the lady, the mother that we're going to talk about today, inshallah. And of course, this just a quick one. What is actually the definition as well as the blessing, the fadilah of the mother of the believer? Definitely. See, oh, sorry. Nowadays the marketing calls is going crazy. All right, let's just switch off my phone. The family of the Prophet is called the household of the Prophet. That comprises into two aspects, right? One is the family coming from the blood lineage, which is our Rasulullah Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib and bin Hashim. So all the family, all the descendant of Hashim, they're considered the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet. That includes his uncle, like a Hamza radiallahu anh, and also his uncle Abbas, for example, and also his cousin, for example, Ali bin Abi Talib, and then the other cousin to Abdullah bin Abbas, for example, and then Ja'far bin Abu Talib, and so on and so on. So they're all considered to be the family members of Rasulullah SAW. And of course, all the wives of the Rasulullah SAW. So what is this Ummahatul Mu'minin? What does it mean? They're not like any other women. First of all, for example, they become haram for marriage after the demise, after the passing of Rasulullah SAW. So all the mothers will still be considered, they call them mother, they call them amma, right? Mother. So that means they cannot be married by anyone, which is like your own father, for example, right? And the second thing is because they deserve love and respect, right? And they become the teachers, the role models. Why their story? And today, what we're going to talk about, because I'm really quite excited to talk about this, because sometimes people think about going to dawah and the battle and the war and everything, right? It's so it is something that is so huge story about that. But sometimes in the Quran itself, right, even the spousal relationship or the discussion between Rasulullah, which is actually private in the house of the Prophet, is actually captured in the Quran, because it brings blessing for us. It brings a guidance, what do you call that? Something's a lesson that we can derive, right? So we're going to talk about it today, especially someone who just recently married. So shout out to you, brother Anwar. All right. So, and then one of another blessing is that the wives of the Prophet, there will be the wife in this world as well as after, right? So we're going to talk about it today, about our mother as well. So just going to give you, I put it into Excel, right? And then just going to give you this is all the list of course, number 13, Maria. She was not a wife, she's rather Milk Yamin. We're going to talk about that Milk Yamin later on. But I think these are all the 13. You can see this, just want to quickly so everyone can visualize that. I like having charts like this so we can visualize that. You can see this is the life of the Prophet, right? And he passed away at this year of 632. So you can see here that the first wife, Khadija, so he was being married to Khadija only for about 25 years here. And then during this time, Rasulullah SAW married to a number of ladies, and they're all the Saudah number 1 and Aisha. And Aisha again, because the relationship of Rasulullah SAW with Abu Bakr, the close relationship, this is why they established the linkage, they established the kin, the brotherhood between the tribe, right? And as well, Hafsah was also very close to Umar bin Khattab, and the marriage of this actually sealed the relationship with Rasulullah SAW, and one of the biggest companions of the Prophet, which is Umar bin Khattab. and this is Hafsah. And then you can see this is all, some of them, out of this, there are two ladies by the name of Zainab binti Khuzaimah and Raihana. They passed away at the life of the Rasulullah. See, this is the blue color here, right? And the rest is, you can see the longest one alive was Salama, right? So they married after so many years after the demise of Rasulullah. So this is, and today we're going to talk about number 4, which is the wife of, by the name of Hafsah binti Umar bin Khattab, married for about 9 years, right, from 624, and then until the passing away of Rasulullah. So to give you an idea, this the lady that was with Rasulullah for 9 years.
Yeah, I must say over here that this is the first time we have seen something laid out in a chart on the span of the life of the wife of the Prophet.
Yeah, I took it an Excel, so I'll just put the number and punch in the number. I hope you can see clearly as
well. It's really good, mashallah.
Yeah. So now you know, yeah. So just on that as well, I when I put it in here, I then like, oh, when you visualize, I'm an IT person, so I like that out. Right? So when I put into this, oh, now I can see that, right? So Khadija for 25 years, Sauda for 13 years, right? And Aisha for about 9 years, and as well as Hafsah for about 9 years, right? All right. So let's talk about the family lineage. So we can have, where is my mouse again? I need to get my mouse. Okay. So the family lineage, why it is important? Let me share with you why it is important. So you can see here that our mother here, which is the daughter of Umar bin Khattab, and Umar and Rasulullah SAW met like 6 to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generation to the tribe of Quraysh, while Rasulullah from the Bani Hasim and Umar from the Bani Adi, so like a sub-tribe, right? So for example, if you're living in a like a society where they have everything linked to the tribe, so the tribe is called Quraysh and the sub-tribe is called Hasim and Adi. Right, and Umar bin Khattab. See, this is not many people know actually, right? So this actually very, very interesting. While the Prophet Muhammad SAW married to Hafsah, which is the daughter of Umar, Umar actually later on, when he was the Caliph, he was married to one of the granddaughter of Rasulullah SAW from Ali bin Abi Talib, right? So Fatimah married with Ali, and then they had a daughter by the name Kulthum. So Umar bin Khattab actually married to, so Rasulullah married to the daughter of Umar, and Umar married to, and you can see this, you can start appreciate this, right? This is how they live at the time. And it's considered norm. It's not a something. That's why there's a saying that oath is part of the deen Islam. That means whatever that acceptable during in the culture, as long as not violate the Sharia or the law of Islam, it is acceptable, right? So as long as you're not married to your own sister, your own mother, as long as this is Allah actually make regulations who you can marry, right? Other than that, outside of that, you can actually marry, right? So you can see here, this is close to the man Umar bin Khattab. He said when he went up to Ali and asked for the hand of marriage of one of his daughter, he says, I want to be close to Rasulullah because that I want to marry. And you can see the age gap between Umar and Kulthum as well, right? So because it's almost like the granddaughter of Rasulullah. All right, you've heard this before, Brother Anwar?
Nope.
That Umar bin Khattab married to Kulthum. Yeah.
This is totally new as well.
Yeah. So this is not many people. That's why when you put this, you can see this is like an IT person discussing about something. It's all about chart and numbers and drawing, right? So Hafsah definitely is from the Quraysh of the sub-tribe of Quraysh of Banu Adi, right? So Umar bin Khattab is known for that, for one of the great names from this tribe, the sub-tribe. So that's on the family lineage. Now let's talk about some of the, not many, I think I pick up about 5 or 6 stories of our mother here, and let's talk one by one. All right, so number 1. So, and again, not many from the late Makkah and early Medina. So this mother, she was already married to another companion of the Prophet by the name of Qunais bin Hudafa, radiallahu anhu. So they embraced Islam through Abu Bakr, right? And again they also emigrated to Abyssinia, right? So this is one of the, now this is, if you relate back the story during the Makkah time, where our Prophet, because one of his daughters, which is the Ruqayya, for the wife of Uthman, well, they have to be separated. When at the time when people move from Makkah to Abyssinia, they're not like we are traveling from on an aircraft and a nice place and live in hotel and stay in hotel and stuff. This is like completely they're gonna go to a place that they don't know, they don't speak the language, and this is the first hijrah, right? And Rasulullah has to depart from their own being separated from his own daughters, and as well as at the time uh, Abu Bakr as well. Abu Bakr has to be separated from the family as well. So they was the first emigration, which is going to Abyssinia, and the second emigration to Medina. And our mother Hafsa migrated with her husband at the time, right? And during that time, not many stories narrated about her and about her family in Makkah, in the early time of Makkah. And she went up to, of course, then her husband passed away, right? They migrated to, this is passed away after the Battle of Badr. So not part of the matter of the battle, but after the Battle of Badr, and then potentially, most probably because of a natural cause, right? And then he was buried to one of the famous graveyard in the world, which is the Al-Baqi. Yeah. So that is that at the very young age, our mother at the age of 21, her husband already passed away, and the tribal situations like that, having a widow, someone 21 years old is considered probably already too old, right? So, and not without a husband. And of course, Umar ibn Khattab was so worried, right? I need to marry someone off to my daughter, right? And again, see, this is a very interesting part, right? He has a daughter who just lost her husband, right? And the first thing when he want to talk about, he want to find a good husband for his own daughter. The first time he looked is Abu Bakr. So he went up to Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, can you please consider to take my daughter, right? And then Abu Bakr said, no, sorry, I'm not responding or something. And then he went up to Uthman. Of course, this is the best, the closest companion to the Prophet. He went up to Uthman. Uthman, can you please take my daughter? I know his husband passed away and so on. And Uthman says, oh no, they all declined, right? And so what happened is they all declined because they overheard that Rasulullah was considering to marry Hafsah, right? But of course they didn't want to tell that, so they just say no, right? And then what happened is Umar was so sad, or so feeling really like down, like all the best companions, Abu Bakr and Uthman, declined my daughter, right? Of course, and he was so sad. And then when you get sad, when you feel sad, when you feel like that, what the first thing you do, you talk to the Prophet. So he went up to the Prophet Sallallahu and said, Ya Rasulullah, so what happened here? My daughter is without a husband. I asked Abu Bakr declined. I asked Uthman declined it, right? And then Rasulullah says, okay, then Rasulullah take, well, how about this, right? I'll take that as my wife, right? So of course, Umar bin Khattab was so happy to hear that. So then the marriage took place. It was about the third or fourth time after the Medina time, right? So this is the and I guess, and again, this is a very interesting story, right? This is the marriage between within a tribal situations where everyone tried to get the close relationship with, especially at the time the first thing they come up, the first thing that come to their mind is who's the most pious person, right? So this is what they think. They go to Abu Bakr. He went to Abu Bakr first and Uthman. Right, so this is, and Rasulullah says, okay, let me propose to your daughter, and then they married. And Rasulullah asked Uthman to marry, because Uthman just lost a wife as well, which is the first daughter of Rasulullah Ruqayya, and then he offered another daughter, which is Kulthum. That's why Uthman It's a special status as well. Someone who has a two light, Zul Norain, right? The two light, because he was married to the two daughters of the Prophet, right? Not at the same time, but one after another. After Ruqayyah passed away, and then the Kulthum, Kulthum. That. So there's one story about at the time during Ramadan. So probably about, I don't know whether it's exactly during Ramadan, but Aisha, which is another wife of the Prophet, and Hafsah, they were fasting. And once they know they're fasting, some people at Medina or the guests, when they come, they hear about that, they give a nice gift, right? The food, they send them the food so the mothers can eat, right? And then when they see the food, right, and look at this, right? This is very interesting. Like why they become, again, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, why they become the role model, because not because of they are free from trial, free from test, from all of this. Actually, they're tested a lot. So they were hungry, right? So like human like us as well. So they took the food and they finished the food, right? And then after they finished, they said, "Oh, this food is for the Prophet. Why we actually ate it, right?" And this is this is when I read stories like this, right? You see that this is we humanize this giant, right? This is the role model for us. We humanize them. They're not really up high, right? They're actually human like us, right? But they're different when they have mistakes, and they come back close to Allah, and how they try to stick to the deen, stick to the Sharia. That's what makes us, and how they go through the trials and tribulations and still coming up best, right? So that is the different. So when Rasulullah came, right, and then the first times, Aisha was so scared to tell, and Hafsa just ran straight away. And I said, Ya Rasulullah, the food came in, and we were so hungry, we just dished everything, right? And then Aisha was so scared, and I said, looking at Hafsa, oh, Hafsa is being honest and very straightforward. And then this is all husbands, you and me, brother Anwar, you and me, right? So I think we are the only husbands here, right? And look at the wisdom of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, then fine. If you already ate everything, then probably it's not for me. I will do some other time, right? And again, this is so the wisdom of Rasulullah Sallallahu. And you know, the good food coming, the good food was there, and he didn't have to enjoy it. He just hear the news about the food, but never actually saw the food, even much less eating the food, right? But then being the patience and accommodating and caring of Rasulullah. Okay, now yeah. This is, of course, this is our Prophet and the way he handled that. Now, the second story. This second story is a bit. I like this story as well. And again, this is again. I don't know whether you, Brother Anwar, I think this is something that being racism, right? Racial bias. I don't know whether this is something that has been talked about, right? We live in Hong Kong. There's multiple races that live here. Sometimes people being racist is sometimes what do you call that? Someone who consciously and deliberately try to do something harm, or try to shorthand someone because of their racial background. So if that, but sometimes even you don't do it consciously and you don't do it intentionally. It is something within the human being, right?
Yes.
That you see something, you tend to go with certain of your group, right? This is right, Brother Anwar, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and again, this happened to our mother, right? And this our mother has had a heated argument with another mother, which is Safiyah radiallahu anha, right? And Safiyah binti Huyai, you know Safiyah binti Huyai, Brother Anwar? I have to quiz you.
She is,
you know
okay.
From which
that was
tribe?
Salam.
From
I
which
don't remember
tribe
the tribe. No.
No, she's not. She's actually not from Arabs. She's actually from the Yahud. She's there are two wives of the Prophet Muhammad. Is actually from the Jewish background.
So she is the one when the Prophet ﷺ married after the conquest of Khaybar, right?
Yes, from the Khaybar, correct. Yes, right. Yes. She was captured, she was taken, and but she actually willingly, and she actually told the story, but she sort of had a dream before that a moon came to her lap, and then she interpreted that something big is going to happen. So that's why she actually willingly took Islam, took Shahada, and become the wife of the Prophet, right?
Right.
And then when she went to with Rasulullah SAW to Medina, and see everyone in Medina at the time was the Arabs, and our mother Safia was the Jews, right? And then Hafsa, the co-wives, right? And again, this is what I like about this story: the co-wives, they are the best, perfect role model, right? But they have some, what do you call that? Heated argument. They don't. So what happened was the Hafsa was out of heated argument, right? And she said this word, "Oh, you, the daughter of Yahud," or "Oh, you, the what was it? Yabnata Yahudia," right? "Oh, you, the Jews," right? And then Safia heard that and she was crying. And then, because this word, right, is a racial slur, right? Is a racial slur. And you remember that there's the same story happened as well at Abu Darda in Bilal, right? Where Abu Darda, out of anger, out of probably being upset, and he says, "Oh, you're the mother of a black woman," or something. And Bilal was so upset and reported to Rasulullah SAW. Rasulullah was so upset to hear that, right? And then Abu Darda realized that what he said, right? And he went to the house of Bilal, and then after that, he put his face on the footstep of Bilal's house. And then Bilal came, "What are you doing here?" I said these nasty words to you. Please forgive me. I said, "Okay, I forgive you. Please step on my face. Please step so I know that I'm forgiven." Right. So this is how the companions feel that they, not that because they don't have this racial bias, they do have it, right? They try to fight it, right? So this is again what meant. And the same thing with our mother here, right? The word came out and says, "Oh, you're the daughter of Jews," right? And because that is actually our mother, Safia cry, and Rasulullah SAW, and it being the Prophet himself. And you know what he said was very famous. He said, "Oh, don't cry, don't be sad, don't cry, oh Safia. Your father was a prophet, your uncle was a prophet, and your husband was a prophet," right? So that means it's like your lineage, right? Which is the Moses and Harun and so on. Your lineage are all the prophet, and then you married to the prophet. So you actually have a good lineage and so on. So this is how Rasulullah sort of console her and give the comfort words to her. And then Rasulullah SAW went up to Hafsa. Now, this is a man that when he is upset, when he's angry. So the sunnah for the Prophet when he is angry is actually he is silent, right? So if you being a person now, sometimes I remember this, brother Anwar, someone told me that yes, once in a while you have to smack your son, and I remember this, and if you were to discipline your son, you have to smack them. I keep hearing there's almost many people to hear that. So that is the mentality. Is like it's if you smack your own son, like it is like you what do you call that? It's like a using muscle to discipline. So Rasulullah never done that, never did that, right? For Anas bin Malik, 10 years with Rasulullah, he said, "I never see Rasulullah racist, and I never see Rasulullah yell at me, never see Rasulullah correct me or condemn me," right? Now, how would Rasulullah punish someone or feel someone to show someone feeling guilty? Because his nature is always smile. I always see Rasulullah smile. He always smile. He always caring, right? When he's upset, he becomes silent, and that is already a punishment for the companions. When he is silent, right? Is the companion? Oh, that's it. I'm done. Right. So this is what they. This is how the patient people actually show anger, right? Not with the nasty word, not with throwing plates and mobile phones and whatnot, right? So and again, this is something that we need to learn. So how to deal with your wives, how to deal with your family. It's not by showing anger. Showing anger is by silence. And again, This is one of my keynote today, which is being silent is the way, is the sunnah of us showing anger, showing that we upset. And Rasulullah SAW, came to Hafsa, and he just said very simple word, like, are you nasty? You say a racial word? No, 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 no. He just fear Allah, ittaqullah, fear Allah. That's it, and that is already enough for Hafsa to feel like really, really down and really feel remorse and felt sorry for that, right? It's just a very simple word, fear Allah, right? For someone who is actually silent when being upset or angry, and just put this word. So, and again, this is a very good, this part of the parenting. You'll probably need that later on. I have to pick you up. I have to pick up. I need to pick you up every time, from time to time. All right. So again, it shows the humanity. This is the humanity, the simple livelihood of the wives of the Prophet. They are the role model. They are human, and when they make mistake, and how they recover, right? And the third story that I want to talk about, and again, this is probably one of my favorite stories. And if I have a class sometimes for a marriage counseling and class to a group of people, or sometimes even the quarreling between husband and wife. This is one of the things that sometimes I use that, especially for the husband, right? Not necessarily for the wife, but for the husband. So you probably can take out your pen now.
Yes, it's in my hand.
Yeah, so this is actually the story of the Surah Tahrim, Surah number 66. So what happened is, right, so every day Rasulullah, now again, the Sunnah of Rasulullah is every one of his wives will have their own, like a quarter, like their own apartment, right? A small apartment, small quarter, and that they're all within the same vicinity. So every day Rasulullah will visit every single one of them, right? Every day, and within afternoon, like a 15-minute, half an hour, something like that, like they go, how you doing, and check out on everyone, how you doing. And then when the Maghrib comes, Rasulullah will stay in the house where he plans to stay for the whole night, and then continue when he moves to another wife. The following night, so by the afternoon, he will visit every single one of them, or every single mother, right? So this is what happening, right? So one day, another wives of Rasulullah, which is Zainab binti Jash, and she likes being visited by Rasulullah, obviously, all right? And then to keep Rasulullah stay longer, she presented with some honey, right? So Rasulullah will drink some honey, and because of drinking honey, Rasulullah will stay a bit longer. And the jealousy of this to get the better of the other wives. So say, hang on, let me say, I think our Prophet stay a bit longer in the house of Zainab. So they feel like, oh, we have to do something about this, right? Rasulullah stay longer. So then these two ladies, these two mothers, right? They are the wives of the Prophet. They will be in Jannah with the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our mother Aisha and Hafsa, they were actually being mentioned in the Quran because of this, right? And then for them, they're not happy. Why Rasulullah stay longer, Zainab, right? So why don't we do a plot, right? So let's deceive our Prophet, right? Or deceive our husband. Whenever Rasulullah came from the house of Zainab, of course, he would stay longer because he probably, whatever he was being served or something. Then let's say when he came, let's say that your mouth smell. What happened? Like they use the word, the word is maghafir. Maghafir is like a food or something, there's a smell so bad. So Rasulullah came and they says, oh Rasulullah, you have your mouth smells so bad. And then why is that, right? And then, oh, that's probably because I drank. Oh, and then because of that, and Hafsa and Aisha kept saying that your mouth smells bad, like a smell of magafir. And Rasulullah then promised and swear that I will never drink honey anymore, right? And this is out of love, out of pleasing his wife. Rasulullah went all the way by saying, I will not drink honey again. And because it is coming from the mouth of the Prophet, right? And whatever, how the life of the Prophet, every single aspect of his life, whatever he says, whatever he does, whatever he allows people to do, whatever he doesn't allow people to, this become our law, this become our sharia. So when he says, I will not drink honey again, this can be translated into, is honey becoming haram, right? So this is not good. And just on that, Rasulullah right away revealed the first verse of the surah, which is Ya ayyuhan nabi lima tuharrimu ma ahallallahu lak. Oh Nabi, oh Prophet, why you say something haram that I say halal? So this is Rasulullah being censored by Allah right away, because, and if you look at the Surah Tahrim, the continuation of this verse is, "Oh, you Prophet, why you make haram for yourself something that Allah make halal? Is that because you want to please your wife?" So because this Rasulullah SAW is known for want to please his wife. And again, if you remember the hadith, Brother Anwar, one of the hadith that I like is the khairukum li ahlihi. The best of you is the best to their family. Yeah, the best is the family, which is another in another wording, the best of you is the best to the wife. Right? And it's easy for you to look good, to look nice, to look calm, and to look cool outside of the house. But sometimes people forget to look nice and to look cool and to look patient and to look nice and beautiful to your wives, right? And then people outside, if you make mistake, they will unfriend you, they will not connect to you. But people in the house, our wives and so on, they have to live with us, right? They have to put up with us.
They have no option.
They have no option. Subhanallah. So this is all the way, and Rasulullah got reminded by Allah right away. Because why? Because he wants to please his wife. And this is again why the word, like, I don't like the smell of the honey. This is like the spousal, what do you call it? Spousal interaction. It's so private, right? But Allah did not make it private. Did Allah make it as a part of the Quran that we recite until today, until the end of the world? Why? Because it's so important. You can build the world, you can build, you can go to battle and so on, but the order in the house is very, very important. The order in the house is the word. That's why Rasulullah went all the way to say, I will not drink that again. Right? But just out of the pleasing Rasulullah. And again, this is the best human being ever walked on earth. And this is how Rasulullah handled it, right? Then the third story is about the divorce. So our mother Hafsa he was divorced by the Prophet, right? And there was a long story, but I do want to go to why she was divorced. But at the time, because the Quran was revealed, and then Allah reminded our mothers of that, and Rasulullah thought that he was asked by Allah to divorce. That's why he put the divorce on that. And then we Muslims should learn about this. I think sometimes our traditions, our culture, see a divorce is something like humiliation, right? But it's not necessarily. I know that divorce is it's like an escape. If you're in the aircraft, right? If you're in the flying aircraft, when the aircraft is airborne, you don't use the emergency exit unless it is this really, really critical and crucial, right? Only in emergency. The same thing, divorce is like, if any other means of continuing the marriage is no longer available, there's no other viable solution, then divorce is probably one of them, right? So it's not something that nowadays, or probably, I don't know, I cannot probably represent that, but back my hometown and so on, if someone being divorced is like something considered like doing a bad sin or something like that, but it's not necessarily in our religion. Right? So Rasulullah thought that because of these verses that come after this verse, that Rasulullah need to divorce her, and then he divorced her, and the reason because they were not listening to Rasulullah. There was other narration to that. Rasulullah actually told a secret to Hafsah, not to tell anyone, but Hafsah being a mother, being a lady sometimes, and talk to other lady, they probably accidentally say this word. And then Hafsa was asking, how do you know that that of course Rasulullah said this is a secret, don't tell anyone. And then she told anyone, right? And what Rasulullah reminded, and of course Jibril came and told that your wife actually break the secret or told the secret and so on and whatnot. And it says, how do you know? Of course Allah told me, right? And because of that, she was reminded. That's why she got divorced. But anyway, so so and then even there at that time, our mother Hafsah, she mentioned that Rasulullah divorced me not because he doesn't want me, right? That's because the mistakes he made. But then it was actually a huge shock. Our mother was being divorced. It's a huge shock, and everyone was in Medina. Was so they were wondering what happened here, right? Why? If, especially Umar. Umar says like, "Oh, that's it. I'm done." Right? So it's like for him is completely disastrous for Umar bin Khattab, knowing that his daughter is being divorced by Rasulullah. He felt, oh, okay, that's it. That's your afterlife. It's already gone, right? And then even before the iddah time of Hafsa came, the iddah. I don't know. You know iddah, right, Brother Anwar, right? Iddah is a period of time that given if someone's being divorced for I think 4 months, right? Four
The
cycles or
iddah.
something. Yeah, the iddah. Yeah, they call it
Yes.
iddah. The iddah. So even the iddah was finished, Jibril came down and look at this. Jibril came down and told our prophet, she is your wife in this world and the next. Marry her back. Right. So this is this is blessing. And then not only that, Jibril also mentioned innaha sawamatun qawamatun, meaning your wife, marry her again, right? Because not only she's your wife in this world, but she's wife in this hereafter. But the Jibril also mentioned because verily she likes to pray, she likes to do salah, right? And subhanallah, her deed actually save her. Like this is a lesson for us that so we never trivialize our good deed, right? Even the simple, if you do it prayer correctly, you do a perfect wudu, you make sure you keep the time, you do this consistently, right? You look after your fastings, your concern. This that we think is just like a bare minimum, right? Inshallah, if Allah wills, this can be a safe, can save us from in the hereafter, right? Never ever trivialize the good deeds. Then comes to the after the demise of Rasulullah. And again, I think in Surah Al-Ahzab, Rasulullah Qarni, and where Allah mentioned that all wives of the Prophet, you spend all your time at home. So most of the wives of the Prophet, they spend the time at home. So they don't go out, like, because they have a special regulation, special law for them. And even if the wives of the Prophet, they go out, they cannot wear dress like any other ladies. They have to have a special, like a tan, so they cannot even see the shape of their body because they have to have a special tan. If people want to learn the hadith from our mother Aisha, for example, they will come to the house of our mother after the demise of Rasulullah to our mother Aisha, and Aisha will give them the narration of hadith behind a curtain. So this is what happened. So they have a special status. So that's why it's so lucky the what they call the nephew, the nephews of the Aisha, the nephews of Aisha, because they are mahram for her, they can just go around and ask questions and so on, right? So this is one of the blessing of being family member. Right, so she spent most of the time at home, and there was a battle between our mother Aisha and Ali bin Abu Bakr at the time. She nearly joined the battle, but then Abdullah bin Umar reminded her, don't go into this and stay out of this, and so don't get involved in this, right? I'm not going to talk about the Battle of Jama because that's a separate story later on. But if you remember, just quickly, there was a battle of during the Caliphate of Ali, where there's a two different political opinions clash and end up in a battle. And of course, they are all believers, they are all the Muslim, the Mu'min, but because of the different political opinion, they end up having to have battles and people died out of that. And this is part of their testing, right? This is their testing. So we stay out of this. We don't curse one of them. We don't curse both of them. We just say this is part of their test, and inshallah, their iman and their faith is already filled by Rasulullah SAW that Ali bin Abi Talib is one of the person that Ali bin Abi Talib is one of the person that is in the Athar Mubasara, people who guaranteed Jannah, and our mother Aisha is the wife of the Prophet, is also guaranteed Jannah as well. So we don't talk bad words, we don't talk something negative about them. But anyway, the battle came, and then she nearly joined it, but she didn't join. Then she is also at the time the first copy of Quran was collected by Zaid bin Thabit after the order of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr before he passed away, and the first copy was given to Hafsah, right? Because the mother of the believer, so she got the copy of that. So she's blessed by first persons who have the first compilations of Quran with her. Then she passed away at the age of 60, right? And then at the time, the governor of Medina by the name of Marwa, who later on became the caliph, led the janazah, and then she was buried in the Baqi in Medina. And she was known for narrating, of course, not as many as our mother Aisha. Our mother Aisha is nearly 1,700 something, 2,000 something. Well, our mother Hafsah here is narrated about 60 hadith. All right, so that's the life event that we go to the last one, which is just a quick summary of the legacy of the mother. So what is the legacy? What is something that we can the fadilah, the legacy, and the something that we can remember her of? Number one is one of the mothers that get divorced, right? Because it's divorce is not something. And again, how do we learn about divorce? How do we know about how the divorce took place and so on? If we learn from this as well, right? So divorce is not something a sin, but if there is a need to do that, there's no other viable way of putting the solution, then divorce might take place. And then is the one that one of the keynote I take from this is my takeaway from this is like you did, no matter how simple, how easy it is that you think, it might save you, right? And then of course she's the mother who blessed with the first copy of Quran, but later on the first copy will be taken out, and then they make a simplified, not simplified, they compile it again, they make it into another version, which is become the Uthmanic version, which we have until today, which is the Uthmanic one. So this is the pre-Uthmanic one, which is written during the time of Abu Bakr. Right. So and again, this is the story of her is the story about khairukum li ahlihi, that the best of you is the best to your family. How Rasulullah SAW willing to go all the way to please her, that Rasulullah being reminded by Allah that you cannot say haram to something that Allah say halal because of that, because when Rasulullah SAW want to please, to make them happy, because of the honey incident. All right, so I think that is what we talk about today. I think I'm gonna complete this story. Thank you, everyone. So Jazakallah khair. Do we have any questions, Brother Anwar?
I think you wanted to take a quiz at the end.
Okay. All right. So it's about an hour, 55 minutes.
Yes.
So yeah.
Do you want to take a quiz now?
Yeah. If anyone wants to ask something, well, yeah, I try to condense the story because telling the stories of the prophets, all right, is very interesting. That's how it's unique how this religion is all about, right? Is we think this is something that is private and spousal information. But again, if you look at Surah Tahrim, right, there's a 12th verse of the Surah Tahrim. For example, the Surah Tahrim, at the time, the people of Medina was going to be attacked. They were going to be attacked by certain tribes that are planning to attack them, right? And then, if you can see that people being attacked, also Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be busy coordinating the army and making sure that how to defend and so on. No. Rasulullah is being directed, look after the wife first, right? Look after all the family affairs, make sure you cannot go in battle and so on, right? So this is, and again, you cannot go around and tell people the community and teaching religion and so on if you not make your family in order. So that's why the family is so important. That's why even the word, the exchange of word, which is private to Rasulullah to his wife, Allah took it and make it as the Quran as the guidance. So this is the stories of our mother today.
Inshallah. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Brother Arief is more than happy to answer them.
Yes, I'm more than happy.
Or you can leave it in the chat box as well,
Yeah.
and you can read it from there.
If not, then we can conclude.
I guess so.
Okay.
Like that. Thank you so much again for your time, brother. It was lovely hearing you, and mashallah, such an informative one. And the visuals actually make it very, very easy to understand. Because sometimes when we hear that the Prophet ﷺ had 13 wives, people don't understand that it was not 13 at one time. And the visual that it just showed, it shows that the lives of like how many the lifespan of the wives that coexisted at one time, that overlapped with it at one time, the Prophet ﷺ. So that was, the visuals made it very, very easy to understand.
Alhamdulillah.
And something that I think everyone can retain as well.
Alhamdulillah. Inshallah. It'll be source of a guidance so for us to look after our family as well. Yeah, in that Tahrim as well, you will hear one of the verse, the very famous verse. Ya ayyuhallazina ma'akum anfusikum wa ahlikum naran. Why all you believers look after yourself from the hellfire and your family. Look after yourself from the hellfire and your family as well. So this is Oh, we have a question there? No, okay.
No, sisters saying that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Jazakumullah khair.
Remember in your duas.
Inshallah. We can close that then. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Asyhadu alla ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.